Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here. Saturday morning, and we're in the off season, so we start our new off season schedule once again. And on Saturdays, we like to share the love club, and that's where we all get together and we celebrate somebody in the Raptors community. Last year, we celebrated a lot of the players, the coaches. This summer, I'm going to focus more on people that are Raptor freaks, people that are very much into the Raptors, like we are, the people that watch this channel, and also media. And, I don't know. I'm just going to shake it up and have different people this year. And we're going to start with somebody who's very much one of the biggest contributors on this channel, as far as being here day after day, coming in almost every single day, always has very positive, great messages all the time, somebody who really helps me with keeping this channel going in a couple different ways, as far as somebody who encourages me almost every single stream. Keep going, Lex. W stream, Lex. Keep at it. I hear that all the time from Monique. And sometimes in the morning when I don't want to get up and I don't want to do the stream, I can hear Monique's voice telling me, "Get up, Lex. Keep the streak going. Keep going on this channel. You've done so many streams in a row. Just keep at it." And it does literally fuel me to keep going on this channel. Encouragement from people like superfan Monique Lawrence, our subject today for the Share the Love Club, because she's a role model and somebody that shows how to be a passionate, positive Raptor fan. Now, the other way that she helps me on this channel is that quite often her comments in this channel are like cue cards to me. There's so many things that happen in the world of basketball, in the world of the Toronto Raptors, and if something is happening, we know that Monique probably is on top of it. We know that Monique probably has already seen the interview or the article, and she will be sharing with us on Facebook in the chat, or just messaging me. Before, that would be that kind of thing before we had the Facebook chat with everybody in there. Sometimes she would send me stuff just herself directly to me, and it was great because it was always stuff that I had missed, and it was also stuff that I was very happy to know about. And so in some ways she's very great at sharing information and bringing it to people's attention, and I appreciate that so much, because it's something, I can't keep track of everything. So having Monique around, really on top of things like I am, really helps, like, give me some security that, all right, if I don't know what's going on, well, Monique will know what's going on, and she'll definitely fill me in on the details if there is a blind spot that I have. So there's so many different things. I'm going to get into other aspects about Monique, her personality, her career, and what she's doing with being a super fan and being with the Raptors. And just, there's so many things about Monique. They're just so special and amazing. And I'm so happy that this season we were able to bridge the gap through the channel, to like get more of us together in real life and hang out. So many great opportunities to link up with Monique during the season at different times, whether it's Sue and I meeting up with her, whether it was when all the guys were here, when Tom Duke was in town, and we all got that great picture with Monique. It's just been fantastic. And of course, last summer, when we had the get together at Noonan's, that little group, there's just been such good events that we're going to increase more and more real life events where people from this channel that really are enthusiastic and positive about the Raptors can get together and hang out together in person. So I'm oh my gosh. Now, I've known Monique for a very, very long time. I have to tell you, a lot longer than I've done this channel. I was aware of her probably over 10 years ago, just because she had such a strong online presence in the Raptors community. I was in a lot of Facebook groups that she was in. I was in, different places, and I kept seeing her in different places. And I'm like, wow. And I was like, I was already impressed with her right away, because the stuff she was posting, her enthusiasm, the love she has for the Toronto Raptors was something I identified really, like, early, that I share the same kind of love and passion as her. So I knew that we were birds of a feather. that we very much have the same life's love in our life. And it's been awesome because before it would be more like just back and forth, like kind of like she'd post something and I'd write comments, and we'd talk a little bit that way. And then we became Facebook friends, and then more and more we started communicating. And now, because of the channel, we talk almost every day. And that's amazing because honestly, she enhances my knowledge of the Raptors. There's no denying this. There's no denying this. She's a huge contributor here as far as bringing us the information, bringing stuff up. Like, she's so on other things other than just the Raptors. She's on top of the 905. She's on top of the CBL. She's on top of the new WNBA news coming to Toronto. She's on top of Team Canada stuff. She just on all of it. It's like, listen, she should have a job at a Toronto Star instead of Doug Smith, because she knows just as much as he does, and she would do it in the right way without all these flaky, stupid articles like Doug Smith coming out with a hit piece on Scottie Barnes yesterday. Yeah, real nice, Doug. Yeah, you got all the Scottie fans after you now. Yeah, and it's kind of funny because they're really like, the Scottie fans are all youngsters, and they really love Scottie, and they're very much coming after Doug to retire. Basically, Doug Smith wrote an article yesterday saying the Raptors told Scottie he has to get in the gym this summer. That's not what I heard. I heard Scottie say voluntarily that he's ready to get in the gym, Doug Smith, with your silliness, with how you write articles. There's a lot of stupid articles getting written right now. ESPN is trying to get people to hate Canadians right now again. Chris Haynes with his report yesterday that Diar DeRozan had to be escorted by security out of the arena after the game. Well, duh. And they're saying it was because of online threats. Well, sure, you guys don't understand Raptors Twitter. They don't have any rules, and it's really not Raptors Nation when you talk about Raptors Twitter. We don't know who these people are in Raptors Twitter. Some of them are imposters. Some of them are very extreme Raptors fans who really don't have any kind of they're not really good Raptor fans. Let's just put it that way. These are the people that are causing a lot of the dumpster fire on Twitter. And don't lump us in with all them. There's some reason people in the States are trying to say Raptors Nation this, Raptors Nation that, because a 9-year-old girl had to get escorted off our court in security. Well, they were going to have to do that either way, just because she did have an impact on the game. And there were people in the arena that were sitting near her. It's not that she was in danger. And I know that DeMar was a little worried about it. He talked about it a little bit after the game last night when they lost to Miami, by the way. But, it's silly. They're blowing it out of proportion. It's very, very similar to the Kevin Durant getting hurt in the finals, and we cheered for it. It's all bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit in there. But they give this little opportunity for people that are xenophobic or just want to paint everybody with one brush. That's part of the problem. It's like, okay, you're going to say all Raptors fans are like this? That's not fair. Do you do that to entire groups of people when there's a couple of bad ones? Do you paint them with the same brush? Well, don't do that to our fan nation, because there weren't. In fact, you can watch my stream from the day after that, and you can say I was telling people, no, understand, this is a child. Y'all can't be like, I want to hurt her and I want to go get her and stuff like that. That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous. You can watch my stream from the other day and the way we talked about it. There's a lot of people that are sensible people in Raptors Nation, and we're nowhere near the narrative they're trying to push down there right now. It catches a little fire, and then people on Twitter, it's a dumpster fire, more toxic again. They carry it and they go all over the place with it. In fact, there's a lot of there's 3 different dumpster fires right now with the press that are so stupid right now. I mentioned the one with Scottie Barnes and Doug Smith. I mentioned the one with Chris B. Haynes putting the report out that Diar DeRozan was in danger because the Raptors fans were coming after her. And then the third one is this. They have taken a quote from Fred VanVleet's press conference, and they have totally misquoted him. They've taken him out of context. They've taken just a little snippet and not leaving the whole fleshing out of what he meant. And they've made it seem like he's being critical of Scottie Barnes in the comment. If you read the whole comment of the whole transcript of the interview, if you saw the interview, you'd understand the context of what was said. And it's basically Fred's saying that, a team that's not mature will not get as far as a team that knows what they're doing. And that's just common sense. And he doesn't call anybody out specifically. He's just saying that our team is young, and this is true. The average age of our team is lower than most of the NBA. And Fred's just stating facts. In fact, and he didn't even mention Scottie around this time at all. And he was blanketly meaning just the overall age of our team. It wasn't that he's singling out Scott to say certain things in that quote. So this is how they do it. First of all, they'll extrapolate and make things like even worse and paint a picture of a couple bad people, and they'll paint a whole bunch of people with a wide brush with that one thing. They'll misquote, and they'll take it out of context, and they'll write different little things just to get kind of people agitated or thinking about it. And then Doug Smith will just blatantly lie and just make shit up and say, yeah, even if they told him that behind the scenes, the way you wrote it is just really controversial, not controversial, but just kind of cheesy and cheap and not needed. It's not needed to write it that way. In fact, I really do think you have an agenda to get people out of Toronto, Doug Smith. At this point, you had such a hand in getting Vince Carter out of the city years and years ago. You have a hand in Nick Nurse getting fractured from our team just a month ago. And now what are you trying to do? You trying to make Scottie not like being in Toronto because your old ass writes stupid little articles like that? Yeah, I'm just sick of you, Doug, man. I'm sick of so many stuff. I'm sick of the regular media. I'm sick of Twitter. I'm sick of toxic like fan social media bullshit all over the place. I'm sick of the betting. There's a lot of extraneous toxic shit around this league at this point that is really, really just a distraction and just toxic. It's just really not good for the league in all kinds of different ways. All right, let me get in the comments, and hopefully we'll be celebrating super fan Monique Lawrence, the Raptors community champion, and just one of our biggest contributors and one of our foundational people here on this channel that we love so much. All right, let's see what y'all are saying. Isaac Campbell is here first. First in, Isaac Campbell. Love this place. Heart. Yes, I love this place too. And thank you for being here, Isaac. Celebrating Monique. That's right. Nameless is here saying, morning, freaks. Good morning. Buongiorno. Nameless. Mon ami. Yes, I think I said French again. All right, let's see. Monique is here. The guest of honor, the streamer of honor, Monique. Superfan Monique Lawrence. I'm here, Raptors for life. Appreciate y'all. Right back at you, Monique. Seriously. I mean, I'm going to go to your Facebook real quick, Monique, and I'm going to just talk about your last post from 18 hours ago. I love it. She's capping off the season with a little bit of a motivation for her signing off for the season. She said, Raptors, the highs and lows are a part of the journey. And so true, so true. We are still here 100% to next year. That's right, Monique. You're dang right. We're going to be there. I'm already starting the countdown the next fall. We know you're all about the countdown. We remember from last year, Monique will remind us how many days we got till the next Raptors basketball game. And I so love it. I love it. It's like a clock. It's like Monique comes in the morning and says, y'all, 50 more days till Raptors basketball. And we'd be like, yes. And when it shrinks more and more as the summer gets to the end, I mean, we want summer and we want to enjoy the summer, but at least if the summer's ending, we've got basketball to look forward to. And Monique is always on top of letting us know how close it is. And I really, really do appreciate that. I love the countdown. And she's saying, best fans, thank you. Signing off. Mo signing off. This is for the season. And she has this fantastic picture of her in front of a basketball hoop and a great mural of Chris Boucher, Scottie Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, and OG Anunoby. Monique just looking sharp in her Raptors swag and giving us a nice little bow on top of the season. Thank you, Monique, for all the hard work that you put in throughout the whole entire season with all your write-ups and just in general, like all the getting down to the games, just being a positive ambassador for the Raptors Nation on site. That a lot of fans know who you are. You are a celebrity super fan, and they want to get their pictures taken with you. They know you're a legend. You really are a legend in some ways around the Raptors organization. And that people want to be around your good vibes. And that is just part of the fantastic stuff you bring down there whenever you're at the game. And we do appreciate that. Mike is here, logical Raptors fanatic in the house. Project Truth now more than ever, since the Project Lies and BS that I just talked about is in full effect. We need to counterbalance it with the Project Truth, the work of Mike, another great Raptor freak, somebody who's done so much good work too. Mike, I appreciate you. Let's see what he's saying. Salute the real ones, Project Truth always. Wow, this picture is super cool. Mo rocking the spicy jersey, but in the back they made a banner with their name. Wow, that's amazing. Well deserved, Mo. Raps fans #1. Yeah, that was a very special day for Monique a couple years ago when she was named the community champion of the Raptors. And they had a whole press conference. They gave her a nice jersey. Randy Urban was there, and he was just asking her questions, just like she was a player in a press conference. It was fantastic. I love seeing that celebration of her. And just in general, just the Raptors reaching out like that for a fan is fantastic. It really shows the class and awesomeness of the Toronto Raptors organization. And yeah, that was a great day. There's clips of it on YouTube, Mike. If you never watched that clip of Monique at that press conference, it's fantastic. You should check it out. Seriously. Let's see. Jimmy Pope is here. Good to see the Pope of positivity. We will always fight the good fight for the Raptors. Go Raps. Y'all are awesome. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for going to the game on Wednesday, the plan, and losing your voice and doing your part and getting out there. And thank you, Jimmy, for just all the positive stuff this year. There's a reason why I'm calling you the Pope of positivity now, because you were consistently coming in with a good attitude and just showing us the light and just talking good stuff. And at times when I would be a little cynical, maybe I'd be a little negative, Jimmy was really good at swinging me back to where I should be as far as like with my mindset with the Raptors. And I really do appreciate you, Jimmy. In some ways, we're giving kudos to everybody today, y'all. Seriously. Cool Cat is in the house. Cool Cat, one of my favorite Raptor freaks, one of my favorite people on this channel all time. Good morning, Raptor Freak crew. Great day for celebrating our Raptors community. Shout out Mo, our super fan, sending our love. Cool Cat celebrating Monique with us. Yes, Cool Cat. Isn't she awesome? I mean, I know you're at the games a lot. I know you probably ran into her at some point, but yes, she's just the best, isn't she? And Cool Cat, I have to commend you too, just for your passion for the team also is so strong. In fact, this is part of what bonds us all. We all have the same kind of passion and love for this team. And your commitment to going to games and just keeping up with the team all year long in a difficult season like this is commended. And thank you. And like, you are definitely part of what keeps us going on this channel also. That you're just a big part of like every day and like a very solid contributor constantly. That I really do appreciate you being here, and that you went to a lot of games this season, Cool Cat, because I know you were very much a good force in the stands too. Logical saying Mo being on top of things is a big asset here, even for me. I'm terrible with dates. That's what I'm saying. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. I know that Mike's strength has some very strong strengths that I don't have, and I really appreciate Mike being here. Listen, you'll probably get one of these one Saturday, Mike. So you hang in there. A lot of y'all are going to get them. Seriously, I might really just focus on y'all this summer, because in some ways there's not many media personalities that I want to celebrate. Let's put it that way. So there may be a lot more of Raptor Freak Saturday Share the Love Clubs than the reporters. I don't know. Maybe there's like 3 of them I want to celebrate right now. I mean, maybe Orrin Weisfeld, maybe Savannah Hamilton, Jack Armstrong. There'll be people like that. There'll be positive ones. We're definitely not doing Grange. We're definitely not doing Doug Smith. We're not doing Aaron Rose. We're not doing any of those turkeys. Let's see. Tom Duke is here. Go, Mo, go. And he's got the shooting stars, just exactly the perfect emoticon for her. And he appreciates her passion. That's right. Tom Duke is so awesome that you came all the way here and you came to a game with us and you hung out with me for 2 days. That was so awesome, Tom. It was such a huge pleasure to meet you, man. And I do really want to come and see you this summer and hang out more with you, man. I feel like I found a lifelong friend, and I so appreciate you, Tom, in so many different ways, buddy. And this is part of what we're doing here today. But I'm so glad that you got to meet Monique And we got that great picture, and you got to catch up with her just a bit at the game that day, Tom. Thank you for being here, celebrating Monique today. Nameless is saying, good morning, Monique. Hope you're doing well on your special day. Must kind of feel like your birthday. I guess that is kind of like I don't know. I mean, she has her birthday, but this is her Saturday Share the Love Club. First one of the season. We getting the one of the most important people on this channel celebrated first on the first Share the Love Club for this summer. If y'all don't know what the Share the Love Club is, it's basically at the end of last season, Gary Trent Jr. said, there's so many people sharing so much hate. Why don't y'all share more love? He said it in the press conference after one of the games. And I was thinking about it, I was like, you know what? This is a great concept for my channel. If we're a positive Raptor space, let's listen to the Raptors when they tell us to be more positive. And let's make a new day during the offseason called the Saturday Share the Love Club, where we really do share the love for somebody involved with the Raptors. And that's how it got inspired. And then Scottie last summer was all about share the love, y'all. He says it in his Google Pixel ad, which Monique has a Google Pixel ad, by the way, just so y'all know. But he said it in his, and then he kept saying it on his Twitch to sign off. Touch grass and share the love, y'all. So it's like, all right, I'm going to listen to these young Raptors, and we're going to do that on this channel. And that's how the Share the Love Club came about. And we did it last summer, like I said, and we did people like Masai, Nick Nurse, Fred VanVleet, Pascal. We did most of the main players and the main coaching staff. And not the main coaches, the coach and the main principal people that are involved with the Raptors. But we're going to get everybody, and we may not duplicate too much. So this is very special because this is Monique's Share the Love Club. So, all right, let's see. G saying, go Mo. That's right. G's in here. G's one of the originals, somebody that I very, very much respect. And G has been here with us the whole time, and he's seen the contributions of Monique. And we appreciate your contributions and your regular attendance also, G. Shane saying, Greg, great choice for the first Share the Love Club of this offseason. Cheers to Mo. Shane Waters, West Coast Raptor Freaks. BC, baby. Shane Waters, one of the great West Coast guys, holding it down with Tom Duke out there. And yeah, I agree with you. I was thinking about it. I had a couple candidates, but I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and go with Monique first. Why not put her at the top of the list, number one? That's right, because she's number one super fan in my book. I think we got to knock Nav down a couple pegs in the super fan rankings just for bringing Diar to the game. So I think Monique, you jump up over Nav on this one now, because it is like if there's a super fan rankings, I think Nav was number one just because of all kinds of things. But hey, I got to knock him down a peg for allowing this to happen on Wednesday. So, yeah, Monique, you're number one now. That's part of what we're doing here. We're officially honorarily making you the number one super fan in Toronto Raptors fan nation over Nav because of on Wednesday night. How about that? Y'all agree with me? How about that? All right, let's see. G saying, also gamblers were probably mad at DR for losing. How horrible to threaten a child. I know this is the crazy thing, and this is so true. We were favored to win. We were going to win. There were all kinds of things happening where we should have won, and it is the player's fault. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, Raptors Nation's blaming a 10-year-old child for why they lost. But, in some ways, she did have a factor. But ultimately, everybody's right. The players lost the game for us. And that's why they should feel so crappy. And they do. Honestly, they really do. It was crazy. Seeing all right, let's talk about last night. Miami versus Chicago. Very interesting game. It was very cool to see Kyle and DeMar reunited, talking to each other. And I could tell when they were meeting up before the game and dapping each other and talking in each other's ears, Kyle was pushing the camera away. Like, no, I don't want you to hear what I'm going to say. I know they were talking about his daughter. I know for a fact that Kyle was like, I saw what DR did or something like that. And they're laughing about it and stuff. Of course, these guys can do this. And who knows what they said. It doesn't matter. It's none of our business. It's their privacy. But it's always fun to see those guys reunited and playing against each other in a big game. Well, things went pretty much how I thought they would. The Bulls played really strong for a long part of the game, but Max Strus was just on fire. He really carried their team. He showed up. And then Jimmy Butler was the final nail in the coffin. He really is a guy who wills his team to victory. And he really did do a lot of that. Now, there was some weird stuff, and the referees were a little bit helping Miami, but Chicago did end up losing. So it will be the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. And that is probably the toughest matchup other than us that they could have got in the first out of the play-in. So the play-in finished, and the Miami Heat and the Minnesota Timberwolves went through. Now, Scott Foster was refereeing that late game for the Timberwolves and the Thunder, and he was the only ref that favored the Timberwolves. The other two refs favored the Thunder. So we see who controlled that game. Not that they really overly controlled it. I mean, they were in trouble. OKC had a problem because this is the thing I hate. That hit by Rudy Gobert on SGA was dirty. That was so dirty. Flailing the arm like that or hitting out when you know a player is in that vicinity, that is such a dirty play. He did that on purpose. And it really affected SGA. I mean, his eye swole up, closed. And he went in the back and he came back out and his eye couldn't open one eye. So what the fuck? You think you can shoot after that? You need all right. This is something that I know because of my father. My father is blind in one eye, and there's issues with perspective and depth perception. And if you can't open one eye in a game, all of a sudden, you're not going to be able to shoot the jumper the same way that you could if you could open both eyes. So it was a really key thing that happened with Gobert hitting him in the face and giving him a black eye, basically. And once again, the NBA poo-poos it and doesn't really punish him or do anything. It's just this league has a bunch of cheap shot artists and flop artists at this point. And I'm sick of it. The cheap shots, they should, if you're going to be getting people for flagrant fouls and all kinds of different varieties of fouls, you need to come down on people that are aggressively lashing out in an unnatural way where it causes an injury. And Rudy Gobert is he's a despicable person to me in different ways. Like, he seems lazy. He seems like a prima donna. He just seems like a jackass in a lot of different ways. Just a little bit of going over last night. I looked at the refs for today, and I know how they favored the teams today. And I'll go over that in just a little bit. Let's keep going with what's going on here. Saying American media put her on blast, laughing, etc., putting a target on her, then play possum, typical media. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, this is the dangerous thing. People down in the States, none of them will come up here, and they really can't. You can paint their perspective of who we are up here in Canada in really weird ways like this. The way that they come after trans people or something like that. It's this kind of stuff. They want to make others and make you feel like, versus them, or I hate them. It's really divisive. And it's really not good for the world. We should be bringing people together and saying we're all the same. And when you get xenophobic and you start painting everybody with one broad stroke of one brush, that's not fair to us. You did this stuff with KD and that injury, and now you're trying to do this with DeMar's daughter. We love DeMar. We love his family, even though we're not totally thrilled with her. It's not like, there are going to be crazy people. Like G said, there's going to be gamblers that may have put money on Toronto, and they may be the ones that are so crazy and saying crazy stuff. Everything's online. Everybody's saying everything online. So it's like there's online threats to people all the time in little innocuous ways in different places. They were going to have to take her out with security anyway, because that's normally what they would have done. There's a whole, all right, the way they do it at the end of the game is everybody like Nav Bhatia or Drake or any of the VIPs that are sitting around the court, they don't go up and out of the arena like normal people. They come through the entrance where the players come in and out from the back. And there's a lounge back there for VIP people to go during halftime. That's where Drake goes and at halftime and hangs out in there and has drinks or whatever he does. Well, she basically went out the way she was going to go out of the arena anyway, because she's a player's family and they can all come in and out there. So they're over dramatizing something that they would have done anyway. And just because the whole added idea, well, yeah, there were people probably threatening her online, but that's not actually why they escorted her out, because they would have done it that way anyway. I saw it happen on the TV when it happened. And basically she was walking with Nav and her mom, and that would have been the normal thing anyway, but they're going to make a big deal out of nothing. Normal protocol, they go ahead and do that. But she was going to get to go that entrance and probably with security anyway, because that's how it is down there. But they did probably think about it and were like, yeah, we need to have somebody down there just in case. Because seriously, this was our whole season. That's something that's important. We all work towards something for 4 or 5 months. it's like the cycle, and the end of the cycle ended, and it was in failure and sadness. And people that go to the games, they spend money, they come all the time. Yeah, you can see why somebody might be upset. They invest their time and money in rooting for the team. And it's not that I'm not saying that anybody should have done anything. Of course not. And I don't think anybody really was thinking that way in the arena. So it's such conflated, just like mushrooming out of something dumb and just like pulling a little thread and saying, okay, maybe there were some people, some trolls that are always out there doing crazy shit, saying crazy things, that are Raptors fans that said a couple things. But it's like, to paint everybody with that wide brush, come on, you're just as guilty and bad as anybody would say this group all is like this. Any group in any part of society, you're going to start saying everybody like this is everybody's like that, because that's what some of the media is trying to do, or some of the fans down there in their comments. Let's keep going. Cool Cat saying the media is quick to paint Raptors negatively at any time. Raptors fan base global, how can Toronto or the country of Canada be responsible for everyone? Negativity feeds engagement. This is all very astute and exactly right. And that's true. That's a really good point by Cool Cat. We have fans all over the states. We have fans on every continent of the world. You don't know where that originated. It could be some degenerate gambling American Raptors fan. It could have maybe not even been a Raptors fan. It could have been just some dude who's gambling and he's mad that it happened because he lost money. They don't have to be a fan of the team to gamble on our team and hope that they would win against the Bulls in a game they should have won, and they were en route to win, and they would have won, but they didn't. All right, MSJ saying congrats to Monique's. That's right. Congratulations, celebrations for Monique Lawrence, the super fan, just the sunshine in our Raptors nation, a kind of fan that people should strive to be more like, instead of the internet trolls, instead of the Twitter heads that are so cynical and sarcastic and snarky and trollish. No, you should all try and be more like Monique. She's a good role model in our fan nation. Let's see what else we got in the chat with everybody here. Captain Sava Bro is here. Good morning, Lex and the Raptors Freak. Good morning to you, Captain Sava Bro. Get out there this weekend. Have a great time out there, and maybe somebody will be in danger and you'll get to save them. Yeah, maybe it'll be at the public beach or something, Maybe there'll be a big yak in the water pooping or something. I don't know. Race Mode saying, let's go, Monique. Yes, thank you, Edmund. Another great regular contributor on this channel. We love Race Mode Daily, and we're so happy to see him here this morning celebrating Monique with us. Mike saying, in my opinion, there were other bigger things that hurt us. The turnovers from not having a deep, diversified package with Pirtle, chemistry playing with center on both sides of the court. Center one versus one is foreign. Okay, Mike, see, this is the thing. After we lost, Mike took some time off because he didn't like the losing. And now he's circling back and he's doing the reaction 2 days later. It's all good, Mike. We'll do this. I agree. The turnovers, and Nick said this after the game, the turnovers of not being able to connect between Pirtle and Pascal in particular were really, really at key times, and they were really bad turnovers because not only did they not connect, we lost the ball, and they turned into easy baskets for Chicago at the other end. And around that time, they were hitting like it was Zach LaVine, like in a transition 3, and not even like, or a dunk or something like that, which was really not good for our team in those kind of ways. So yeah, I agree. Like the turnovers were real bad, along with the free throws, of course. G saying Gary took a shot at the media and they're turning it around. Oh, wait, why'd you do that? I want to know what Gary said. Oh, gee, I was reading it right that instant. I don't know what Gary said. I mean, they do take shots at the media, and they should. I mean, there's so much weird stuff going on with the media and our team right now. We just need to just batten down the hatches, get in the offseason. We'll start getting answers as time goes by. We'll figure it all out. Fred doesn't sound like he's in any hurry to figure out his situation. I still want to hear from Masai Ujiri, and then that'll tell us a little bit more about Nick Nurse and where his status is with us. It was very interesting. There's a TikTok that went viral in the last day of Masai Ujiri walking down the side of Gardiner Expressway underneath on the lakeshore to get to the game before the game on Wednesday. There's literally like footage of him getting out of his car, and walking beside all the traffic to just walk to the arena. You know how that traffic can be down there, where it's just stuck. And you feel like if I get out and walk, I might get there faster. Well, he took his chance on that, and he was right probably. But he was getting late to the game, and he wanted to get there in time, so he got out of the car and walked alongside the traffic. And somebody filmed him. It's like, hey, that's Masai Ujiri, and they were filming him walking underneath the overpass in the traffic. It was crazy. It's kind of a weird filming. Some people likened it to the Michael Douglas movie Falling Down, where he just gets out the car and he starts walking, and the movie's really good. It's quite interesting. But yeah, he's not falling down. That movie isn't totally apropos for this. The other people made reference to the REM video, "Everybody Hurts." You know, the one where they get out of the cars because they're all stuck in traffic, and they kind of connect with each other because everybody hurts. Yeah, some people were saying that it was like that, him walking through the traffic. I don't know. Either way, I just think our president is a badass. And, you know, that's the kind of stuff badasses do. They don't wait around. If they got a chance to go get somewhere or get somewhere faster or do something, they don't want to wait around. They go and do what they got to do. And that's what Masai was doing. And I ain't got no problem with that. In fact, that shows a commitment and a tenacity to go out of bounds, to go make sure something gets done, like arriving at the arena on time for the game. So you go, Masai Ujiri, not too proud or big to not walk down the side of a busy, traffic congested, overpassed highway. Yeah, I love that. All right, let's see. Isaac Campbell is here, and he's saying Yao Ming is calling for an investigation into game fixing of the Chinese Basketball League's championship game. Blatant series of strange turnovers in the final minute. That is very interesting and out of left field, and I did not know anything about this. That is a huge person, not just physically, but just in general in Chinese basketball. Obviously, Yao Ming, he may as well be like Michael Jordan for them. He may as well be LeBron. And if he's saying this kind of stuff, they are going to listen to this, and they're going to have to be like, whoa. Now, I can make a really funny joke about Yao's wine brand. Is he whining? Because he's got so much wine. Oh, that's witty and stupid. But no, I probably is corruption in it, and he's probably exactly damn right. So I go with you, Yao Ming, and stand beside you, much shorter than you. But I stand beside you. If there is corruption in the Chinese league, I want you to suss it out and get it done. Because, you know, there may be corruption and problems with referees in different leagues around the world, basketball and the NBA, and we need to get everything on the level. That's right. So if Yao Ming thinks that he wants an investigation, I support him fully. And you know what? If anybody can do this kind of stuff and question authority there, it's Yao Ming, because he is very much a national hero. And he is also somebody who has a lot of power in China. You'd be surprised. Cool Cat saying, that is amazing how Monique is featured. Another one of our super fans. That's right. You know, listen, the term super fan is used around the league for years. History of super fans like Jack Nicholson, one of the biggest Lakers super fans. It's sad that Jack doesn't go to the games anymore. Well, he's older and he has dementia, and it's not easy for him to get. There's no reason for him to go to the game in some way at this point. But there was a point where Jack was at every single Laker game. You think about Spike Lee and his super fandom of the New York Knicks over the decades, and all the different intrigue of him interacting with Reggie Miller and Michael Jordan in different situations in the 90s. You know, there's been so many different super fans. Almost every single team in the league right now has a very much known super fan like Nav is for us. You know, there's the Philadelphia guy with his white curly hair that's down at the court. Like, there's the rock and roll dude who's at a lot of games. There's all these different super fans. There's a Washington super fan that's so annoying. Trust me. He's one of the most annoying super fans because he sits courtside and he makes a ton of noise. But we have a very good little group of super fans for our team also. And, you know, varying fame. Some of us are very famous like Nav and Monique. Monique is also very famous. And then there's people like me that, you know, one of those underdogs. You know, we're just the little people. But we are still considered super fans. And the reason why is because it's how big our passion is. It's about how much we really pay attention. It's about, you know, being with them and sticking through it all, like through the ups and downs, just like Monique said in her year wrap up. That, that's the difference between a casual, that's the difference between a fan, and that's the difference between a super fan. Is that there's somebody who really, like, in some ways you make the Raptors your lifestyle. And that's the difference. That's the difference. If you want to be a super fan, the Raptors are your lifestyle. It's like, it's not even just that you're a fan and you just watch all the games. They're pretty much like your lifestyle. And I think that's what it is. So in a lot of ways, you're a super fan, where I'm a super fan. We're all super fans. It is our lifestyle, and we really love the Raptors 24/7. So yeah, I love what you're saying here, and I agree. I just love Monique, and that's why I wanted to celebrate her today. Space Cadet's here. Good to see Space Cadet. One of the really awesome Raptor freaks this season, bringing a lot of positivity and comedy this season. In fact, I think Space Cadet was the one who made me originally want to start the dunks on this channel. In fact, I think Space Cadet got the first ever Raptor freak dunk. And that was just a reward for being smart, witty, and having comedic timing. And thank you, Space Cadet, for inspiring the Raptor Freak dunk board. That is a big, huge contribution for this year. All right, so he's saying NBA Central trying to put a fake spin on that Fred quote, and all of his haters are drinking it up like blind sheep. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. That interview should have like killed a lot of the Pencearites. If they actually would go watch the whole interview with Fred, they may feel a little bit better about things, because he really did show a care. He really did show a care for Scottie that doesn't go along with like their anti-Fred storylines. There's so many things that Fred and Scottie both said at the end of season press conference that really like debunks everything, and that's why I'm really hoping Michael put this together. The other thing I want to say about this is that I was actually really I have to give Pencer a credit on one thing today. I saw him coming after Doug Smith for the article against Scottie about him, the Raptors yelling at him to get in the conditioning in the offseason. He actually went after Doug Smith and told him to retire. So this is one place where I'll line up with Pencer against Doug Smith for his little hit piece article against Scottie. But of course, because it's against Scottie, Pencer's on top of it. So it's silly. It's so dumb. But there's a lot of really like the mainstream NBA media doesn't mind painting us or booking us as the villain, and they will go with this storyline and run it all over the place, even though it's negative and it's not even like totally fair, and it's really could be damaging. And that's the thing that's really like stupid about the whole thing. It's like, all right, get over yourself. You think the whole of Canada wanted to murder a 9-year-old child? You guys are all crazy down there. Let's see. Kukas saying, I just want our players to have great vacations this summer and enjoy their grinding workouts. Yeah. Some of them need to just take a week off at least, maybe a little bit of time. I know Siakam will not. I'm sure that he's going straight back in the gym and going just as crazy and hard as ever, if not even crazier and harder with his workouts. Now, some people probably do need to just take a week for their body just to chill and just take time off. Freddie, some of the older players. But yeah, I'm with you. I want them to have a nice time. It sucks because this summer I feel like I won't be able to keep tabs on Scottie as well, because he's not going to be on Twitch. And it was really like awesome to like kind of like be able to watch him regularly, because we could kind of monitor his moves in the off season of where he was. And last summer, Scottie spent a huge chunk of the summer here in Toronto, like very much was mostly in Toronto in the off season last year. So I wonder if that's going to be the case again this year. I mean, with his place, I know he really likes staying in his place and being there with Cardi. And I know he's still playing 2K and he's playing video games. It's just he's not broadcasting it. So I don't know. I don't know how much he'll be here this summer. It could be a little bit different, that he's maybe in other places, in different places. But also on the same token, I know that Scottie really valued his independence and having his own place and being free and just being a young man, even a 20-year-old, 21-year-old young man last summer. And that may be part of what keeps him here also, is that in some ways he does really value like being on his own and being a grown person and having his own things and having his own place. So that I think that he may be around town mostly of the summer still, especially since he can go to OVO, he can bring his trainers up here, he can do all that kind of stuff. So maybe this summer we need to be on Scottie scooter watch, because there could be a good chance that people are going to catch him out and about in the city still this summer. But I don't know. I don't know how to speculate how he'll spend his summer. I do know he'll be in the gym more. That's the one thing we know now from what he said. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. Another great contributor to our channel this year. Wayne coming in strong this past week with the drill sergeant mentality and just all kinds of great stuff all season. Really great contributions, great insight, great points, great questions, all kinds of good stuff from Wayne Strainer all season. We appreciate you, Wayne. Big ups to Monique. Stay safe and healthy. God bless you and your family. Very nice sentiment towards Monique and her lovely mother. I got to meet Monique's mom last year, and she was such a fantastic, nice person. Came to my birthday party too. And hopefully we'll see you again this birthday also, Monique and your mom and whoever like in your family wants to come down to my to the event this year. MSJ saying, I like Raptor Freak and amateur hour sports. Kudos to you and him. Thank you, MSJ. That's not a bad person to be lumped in with. I have no problem with that. I appreciate that, MSJ. And we appreciate you being here too. Once again, another great contributor consistently coming in this season with all kinds of great takes, all kinds of great questions, all kinds of great opinions and funny stuff too from MSJ. Click's here. Click's an original. Click is from day one. And Click has been up and down in different places as far as his optimism and pessimism, but we've always valued and loved having Click on the channel also. To make it even worse, the Bulls and Thunder losing last night means we won't get higher than the 13th pick. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. Click, in some ways, he's giving us the real deal, and it's important. It's not sugarcoating. This is just how it is. And in some ways, I could read your comment like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, but I'm not going to. Because you're right, it does suck. The two teams that lost yesterday were the ones we didn't want to lose for better positioning for us in the draft lottery. That we now stand at like most likely to get 13th pick. 95% chance we'll get the 13th pick. 1% chance we'll get the 1, 2% chance we'll get the 2, 3% chance we'll get the 3, 4% chance we'll get the 4. You kind of see the pattern that I'm talking about with how we have our percentages for chances in the high draft picks. So, but we're 95.6% chance or something that we're going to get the 13th pick or something like that. So it is what it is. Whatever. We'll just have to see how it goes. I think we're still going to have some luck, and I'll bet you we'll get somewhere between 6 and 10 anyway. Watch. I'll bet you we'll get between 6 and 10 anyway. G saying, Click, did you mean the Raptors won't get any lower than the 13th? At best, they get the 13th. I haven't followed the draft staff stuff as much as usual. Yeah, that's pretty right. We won't go any lower than 13. That's for sure. But we have a chance. Seymour Pape, we're saying we have a chance to get a higher pick. It's just really when that first Raptor lottery ping pong ball comes out of the machine. And that's what I'm saying. If there's one in there and they're all like, there's 100 ping pong balls in there and there's only one Raptor one. There's only one Raptor one. And then there's a ton of like Detroit and Orlando and Houston and San Antonio ones. And the one Raptor one is the one that bounces all around and comes out of that chute first. We get Victor Wembanyama. But that's the thing. There's 100 ping pong balls in the machine, and we only got one of them. And that's the thing. When they take one ball out, that's out, and then the chances get even greater for us to get it. But I think we have more than one ball, but maybe we only have one ball in there. I mean, that's really kind of how it works. The percentage, they probably put it right to the 100%. I don't know exactly, but that's how it works. If our one ball comes out, when it comes out, that's where we'll pick. So we'll have to see. G saying also, if that's the case, Booker, Donovan Mitchell were pick 13s, Giannis and Kawhi pick 15. I feel that some of these picks picks end up better at times. Also, Kobe. That's another big one. Kobe Bryant was chosen at the 13th pick in his draft. There's a lot of good players that were picked at 13, and we know who our guy is. It's Masai. Yeah, I'm going to have some faith in whatever happens with us. We're going to get a quality player. Even if we're picking at 13. If we don't get in the top 10, that's not a big deal. We're the Raptors, baby. And we make things like OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam happen, no matter where you are in the first round. It doesn't matter. We're going to get somebody good. Logical saying 13th pick or higher, the second high pick in like 13 years, third highest since before JV. Sounds decent enough. You're talking about like overall and what we've been picking so far. Yeah, so it is still kind of a high pick for us. In certain ways. OG was what? He was like a 6th pick or something, wasn't he? No, he was later down because he was injured. So yeah, Scottie's like only high pick we've had in like forever. He really is. He's the only time we've had like a top 5 pick since like for way forever. Like JV, it's like Mike saying. Jimmy's saying that's the ugly part of sports. Fans can be really ugly. This happens with every sport. It's a shame. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. In some ways, it is crazy. Like the money and the gambling stuff really brings bad things out of it. The people that really just want to win so bad that they're threatening a young girl, you're crazy. Stop doing that kind of stuff. If you really have that going on with you after that game, where you really want to come after her in some ways, just chill. Seriously, get a reality check and understand what you're saying is just madness. It's just madness. If you're after a Diar DeRozan, you're crazy. Let's see. G saying thanks, logical. Zach Levine was also a pick number 13. That seems to be a lucky number. Let's go. I don't mind that number. That's a Steve Nash number. That was a number I wore when I was a kid. I liked the number 13. I would wear 13 when on different sports that I played, soccer and basketball. So yeah, I don't mind that number at all. In fact, it can be a very lucky number for people in some ways. It's an unlucky number to some, but it's a very lucky number to others. And I'm all about looking at it as a lucky number. Isaac saying Kobe was 13th pick. Masai has Mamba mentality. Don't worry. That's right. I mean, I'm going to be really curious, and it's going to be fun with you guys. We'll figure out more about the draft as it approaches. Look at exactly who's around that area with as far as our needs and what we're looking for, and see who may be the best pick. Last year, we did a really good job of kind of sussing it all out. I give a lot of credit to the Gubstown Clank and Greg as doing just an amazing job preparing and looking at the draft prospects. In fact, in some ways, this is Greg's expertise. He's very, very good. If y'all don't know the Gubstown Clank, check out his channel on YouTube. He's a little bit wacky with his crazy edits and his vernacular with red sauce and all kinds of stuff, but he's fantastic content, great positive Raptors content, and he will be definitely somebody you'll want to check out around draft time because he very much keeps up with the college basketball and he knows what's coming down the pipeline. So check out the Gubstown Clink for sure. MSJ saying, geez, leave the girl alone. You have to be a very small person to hate her for screaming. She punked the Raptors, laugh out loud. Raptors fans will have to eat it. And personally, I think it's comical. That's exactly the right stance. And I am really 100% with you. This is the way I look at it too. It's like, come on, we just got to laugh at it. It's silly. And, a lot of people are laughing at it. Maybe they were trying to be laughing at us. Well, laugh at our players for not being able to make their free throws, sure. But in some ways, it is really funny. And it's kind of cute in a way. Like I can understand why people that aren't a fan of the Bulls or the Raptors would find the whole situation kind of cute because there's a little girl really, really loves her dad. And she really did come there with a purpose to try and help him win at all costs. And her tenacity is very much noted. Very, very much noted. Now, piling on our whole country because it's a couple of idiots that are making threats, that's not very nice in the universe. So please don't think that way, people down south or people around the NBA, that all Raptors fans are crazy and they would kill a 9-year-old child. No, we would not. That's ridiculous. And in some ways, we really love DeMar, and we always will. And, she gets a pass. All right, let's keep going. Monique is saying more talks with Nick Nurse were underway yesterday. It's weird. Like that whole question about him getting his assistants getting interviewed and him possibly getting interviewed. The more I think about it, he's so full of shit. He's so full of shit. He tried to blame the press for putting all this out before he said it at that thing. And that's not how it went down, Nick. You really, really did open that can yourself. You can't blame them. Like, sure, there was reports, but why didn't you just say what you said at the end of season press conference at that Philadelphia game where you said there's no truth to this? I don't know where these came from. You could have said that then. That's what you messed up the timing. You did them opposite. The stuff that you said before the game against Philly, you should have said at the end of season interview. And then the things that you said at the end of season interview, you should have said those before the game at Philly, which was basically, I don't know where these rumors come from, and I like it here. I have a good relationship with the front office. Well, then why were you saying before that game, I'm not sure what my relationship is with the office? I don't know what I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do. It's 10 years is a long time. See, you flipped the wrong interviews. I figured it out. You did your end of season interview 5 games too early at the end of the season. and you did a makeup interview, or the put out the fire interview too late at the end of the season. So you flipped your interviews, and you try and act like you didn't do that on purpose. Fuck you, Clutch and Rich Paul, for fucking up Nick Nurse's coaching relationship with the Raptors fans, and in some ways maybe with the team. I love hearing that they're upset with him, and that's good because there's accountability, and this is the kind of shit they shouldn't put up with. Like we said before, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And in some ways, Nick Nurse doing shit like this is exactly like what terrorists would do. And the president's going to say, well, we don't negotiate with terrorists. So don't act terroristic towards us with threats. We won't negotiate with you. Well, that's how I feel about this. I'm like, dude, walk away. You want to do crazy ass strategies like this to try and increase your value because Clutch told you to. Yeah, we don't negotiate with terrorists, is what I'm going to say to him. Let's keep going. It jumped. All right, let me see. Where am I? Oh, there's Jay. There's a couple other people here. I'll make sure I get every comment. Shane is saying, I'm slightly confused by why we can only get 13th pick when we had the 12th shittiest record. Well, we can get higher than 13th. That's just the bottom. That's the bottom. The lowest pick, the worst pick we can get is the 13th, is basically what we're saying. The percentage chance of us getting the 13th pick is 95. So I'm not sure exactly how it all lays out. And if I saw the order and why, I could explain it to you. But right now, I know I saw a stat this morning that said 95% chance of getting the 13th pick. But all the 5% chance of other than that is all above the 13th pick. So it's basically that's the ceiling. That's the catch-all end. The worst we can do is the 13th pick with a chance to get a higher pick still. Pachuli's here. Good to see Pachuli G. Every fan base has crazies. Parents allowed her to do this in front of millions of people. What did they expect? Yes. They benefited from the moment, allowed it to happen, and now the Raptors fans are bad. I know. It's like a perfect storm of like, let's really fuck over the Raptors in different ways with different crazy things. And yeah, they're adding insult to losing and being out as far as like trying to paint us as hateful, weird, like child murderers now. It is. It's so scripted and bullshit. A lot of it is the media's fault. They're trying to paint things, and it's the way they write things, really. Like the way Chris B. Haynes put that story out yesterday. I mean, this shit all went down 3 days ago. The outrage about it all has come out last night because of the way he wrote the article. He wrote it in a certain way to make it really seem like she was really in danger. And maybe she was to a degree, but she wasn't as much in danger as they try to make it out to. Like, seriously. So that's part of it, too. The media is sensationalizing the whole narrative of it. Mike's saying Scottie 4th, Pirtle 9th, JV 5th, DeRozan 9th, Bruno 20th, and Wright 20th. So these are basically like our high draft picks in the last 20 years or so. Okay, that's good information. Yeah, JV was a 5th pick, and Pirtle was a 9th pick. Yeah, those are like our highest picks that we've had, like other than like busts. I mean, you got to put Bargnani on that list, right? Wayne's saying I'm over the game in the season. The playing games basically consolidated the standings. My Atlanta and Miami maintained their spots. Toronto and Chicago were in 9th and 10th as where they should be. Yeah. In some ways, what's the whole point? In some ways but it gave us a chance. It gave us a shot. We wouldn't have made the playoffs in old years where there were only 8 teams that got in. And we had the same exact record as the Atlanta Hawks. And in some ways, this is why the play-in is made. Because in some ways, that's not fair to us. We're both 41 and 41, but they get to go in because the tiebreaker and AJ Griffin shot. That's what I'm saying. So in some ways, the system works and we're benefited from it. We just didn't capitalize on the opportunity that it was given to us. That, in past years, there's been teams that have been tied with the 8th seed and fallen out, not made it because of a tiebreaker. That has happened to teams in the past. And in some ways, they have a gripe. And that's part of the reason why they did this. So our position exactly is it was beneficial that there was a play-in tournament. That without it, we wouldn't have gotten the chance. And Wayne's exactly right. It happened the way it happened. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips, another great, consistent contributor to the Raptor Freak channel. Someone who comes in and gives us our daily blessings, and also is just a nice, steady force in our community, somebody that we can depend on, and we just love seeing every morning in the chat. Randolph said, Saturday morning blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. I'm anticipating the draft, hoping we find another Scottie. Then the front office moves. October is too far away. I know. We're going to start that countdown now. Monique is officially starting the countdown. I don't know how many days we got. Monique, if you already know, let me know. I guess they got to announce the next season first, and then we'll know how long we have. But we can kind of guess around when we will probably be reconvening for things. Of course, there's summer league, there's preseason, there's training camp, there's Rico Hines runs probably again this summer. So there'll be a lot of games in the middle of the summer that we'll be able to like watch and keep on track. If you don't really watch or pay attention to the Raptors in the offseason, this is your place to be, to keep you updated on the summer league stuff going on. We will be very much watching all that very closely. Jay is here. Somebody who's been on the channel before in the past, pops up every once in a while, and we see Jay come in. Let's see what he's saying. Yo! I have to make sure I did every O. Man, oh man, in my 28 years, I never thought a 5-year-old would be the MVP. How do you come back from this? First of all, she was 9. And, we'll come back from this. As far as for a team, yeah, she was in some ways the MVP. I will give her that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's crazy. G saying, there's a video of Masai walking under the Gardiner Bridge in his suit and dress shoes. Apparently he was fed up with the traffic. Yeah, talking about that a little bit earlier. I would have done that too. I've done that kind of shit. Like I'll be in an Uber or a cab and on my way to the game and it just taking too long. I would say, we'll walk the last 2 blocks since it's like nice out and you're not getting anywhere. I'll probably get there faster just on my own 2 feet walking down there. So this is something I've done myself trying to get down the arena. It's like, I don't want to sit here and this just waiting in your car. And I don't really like your radio station. So I'm going to, you know what, sir, we'll get out here and we'll walk the rest of the way. All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. And go Raptors. That would basically be what I would say. Yeah. Jimmy Pope is saying Bulls down bad that Zach didn't get 15 free throws last night. Laughing my ass off. Zach LaVine looked a little more human last night than he did against us. A little bit more down to earth. They did really fail really bad in the last 5 minutes. They had the game. They were beating them. They were kicking their ass. They had been leading for a good part of the second half. And then they couldn't score. In like the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game, the Bulls missed all their shots. And then all of a sudden, the Miami Heat had a really good scoring punch, like in the last 2 minutes, where they got a crazy good lead by the end of the game, and then it was just done. And they were done, and they were over. And I'm sure Bulls fans are like, why wasn't Diar there? Why didn't you let her go to the game tomorrow? Some of them. Patrick Beverley's kind of showing his ass in the last couple of days, too. And it's kind of come back and bit him now because they went out last night. There was a thing he said at the beginning of the season, or he said at some point, he said, I want to make the playoffs and I don't want to be on the Lakers. Well, the Lakers are in the playoffs now and you're not. And you're eating crow with Lakers Nation now. They're coming after him and going after him. But there's something he said that we didn't talk about on this channel yet that was really kind of crummy after our defeat to the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday night. Apparently, Orrin Weisfeld, or one of those guys, I think it was Blake Murphy, one of the press people caught this scene in the back near the locker room. Bobby Webster standing there, and Patrick Beverley walking by Bobby Webster and saying, I knew this team was trash. He said that like real loud, right? Like walking by. And of course, the journalist who saw it happen kind of chuckled about it. Yeah, he's quoted for saying that, and you're right. In some ways, you're right, Patrick Beverley. But you know what? Your team's just as trash as ours. It's just, in some ways, the Eastern Conference play-in tournament this year was a bunch of trash teams. Seriously, it's not like Atlanta's that all great this whole season either. Miami's definitely trash also. So it's like all 4 Eastern Conference play-in teams were basically trash, including yours, Patrick Beverley. So get over yourself. And all the hate and all the things that you're getting, the receipts you're getting from Laker Nation right now, totally deserved. And I'm here for it. Go ahead and get after Patrick Beverley, especially since he had the audacity to say our team was trash. Well, your team is trash too, because you lost to old retirement home, South Beach. Yeah, there you go. Bam. All right, let's keep going. Logical Raptors fanatic saying, Jay, if you think basketball is as simple as Diar being the lone effect that lost the game, but ultimately imagine being Spike Lee and getting Reggie Miller turned up, and he's the MVP of the game. there are different things that can be contributing factors that are not players on the court. Trust me. That speaker fire that we had last year, that was a contributing factor in some ways to certain things. They're all things that can have implications on the court in different ways. The speaker fire made us have to delay for so long that there could have been some problems with coming back with the right energy and keeping up the energy to still win against the Pacers that day. There's all kinds of outside extraneous things that can happen and can change the outcome of the game in certain places. So, I mean, I give her a lot of credit. I mean, seriously, we had our worst free throw shooting percentage the whole entire year. We had not shot 50% or lower in an entire any game, all 82 games. So the one game after the 82 game season that matters the most, we shoot that bad. I'm telling you, she did have an effect. Once again, this is something that I talked about earlier in the season when the free throw shooting was kind of bad. About Siakam, I was saying to Siakam, he needed to be more of a free throw shooting leader, because in some ways, much like being a leader on the court, getting rebounds or doing good things like playing really good defense, you can be a leader at the free throw line. And if you miss your first couple free throws, it really can set the tone for your game. Well, OG had the first couple free throws for the Raptors, and he missed them both. And that kind of started the problem for us. And she very much made him miss. And that's kind of where it all snowballed. You have to be very much on it right away. Like if they come out and they make their first bunch and then you start doing it, it's not going to work. She really did it exactly right. And she probably knew how to do this. She may have done it at lower levels of basketball. Who knows? I don't know. But either way, she was very effective. And I do give her credit for being a factor in the game. She definitely was. Scottie said she was, that they could hear her, and that probably did affect their 50% free throw shooting. Let's see. G saying Gary took a shot at the media, and the media turned it around that he took a shot at Nurse instead. The media is making it like they are now intermediaries between Gary and Nurse. Shaking my head. Okay, so that's what you wrote earlier, and you took it back. Yeah, I didn't totally catch that, but I can see them doing that. They're doing a lot of that kind of shady shit right now. That's why we really need to listen and look with our eyes and ears open, because there's a lot of bullshit out there. And really, if your bullshit meter's going off, you probably don't need to trust it. It is really best to just listen to the team themselves and not take any of the information from articles written by Doug Smith or Aaron Rose or Michael Grange, because they're definitely slanting things, and they have their own agendas with why they write things the way they do. Doug Smith writing about Scottie Barnes yesterday was very much an agenda he has, and I feel like it is to drive Scottie out of here. So fuck you, Doug Smith, and that's why all the Scottie Barnes fans are coming after you today, and they should come after you and mercilessly. Just go after him. Just get him. All right, let's keep going. G saying I deleted it because it was horribly written. It made no sense. Oh, okay. I get it. All right, cool. But you rewrote it. I like that. MSJ saying we know it's the host that picks the direction. So Lex, thanks for being a good host. So easy to tear things down for a magical rebuild, drafting Victor Wembanyama, all fantasy, but you are solidly in reality. Well, that's part of it. Is like I really don't value Raptors content that's speculative. Like I could go watch Raptors Digest and Ben Rogers and Riker. Oh, I know here Riker's not on anymore. It's just Ben, and he'll talk and tell me all the different trades that he thinks we could do, and I'm like, it doesn't fucking matter, because most of that shit will never ever happen. So let's not waste each other's time. I really do react and deal with the present moment and how things happen. I often say on this channel, I will talk about players when they're on the ground running with us in our jersey. There were a lot of things people want to talk about Pirtle a lot before we had him. And in some ways, it's like, well, I'm not going to speculate about Pirtle being on our team if he's not on our team. Well, then when he came on our team, well, it's wide open. That's the reality of the situation. We can start talking about Pirtle being on this team. So it's really, I like to work in concrete, like reality, and not like write fan fiction is what I call it. Is like you can write any kind of fan fiction about what you want to happen, or I want this trade, SGA this. I want to do this and trade up to get the first pick in the draft by trading this player on the Raptors. You can go and get on a trade machine and make all these speculative ideas for how we can make moves with our team. But that doesn't mean anything, because you're not Masai Ujiri and you're not going to do it. So I just find that all kind of a waste of time. So you won't find me doing much of that. It's really reacting to what's already happened, and maybe a little bit of kind of like prognosticating with like intelligent evidence and things that we know from the knowledge of things. Like today, I'm going to do a ref report. I'm going to go over all 4 games for today, and I'm going to tell you who the refs favor between the 2 teams today as far as looking at their records with the teams that they are refereeing for. There's some doozies of ref crews today. I'm going to tell you that right now. These ref crews today are messed up. Let's go ahead and do it. Why not? All right, so the first game today is going to be Atlanta at Boston, and their crew chief is David Guthrie. We just saw David Guthrie. We've seen David Guthrie a lot near the end of the season. Bill Kennedy is the second ref, and Ben Taylor is the third ref in Boston. That is a crew, Guthrie, Kennedy, and Taylor. It's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Bill Kennedy, the good, the bad, Guthrie, and the ugly, Ben Taylor. And all 3 of these refs very much fully favor the Boston Celtics. There's no friend to the Atlanta Hawks in this game today. They're all very biased in their records. It's not biased. They're just the records show that they have very much have Boston winning in their histories. So there you go. The first game, Guthrie, Kennedy, and Taylor are all for the Celtics. In the second game, Brooklyn at Philadelphia, we've got James Williams, who we just saw also in the Chicago game. James Williams wants to be the mayor of Chicago. Mark Lindsay, who's from Pennsylvania, and he's from the Philadelphia referee mafia. And then JB DeRosa, the son of a former referee, JB DeRosa. All 3 of them favor the Philadelphia 76ers against the Brooklyn Nets. So home teams in the East right now are getting favored by all the refs. The next game, New York at Cleveland. New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers, game 1 today. Zach Zarba is the crew chief. Curtis Blair is the second ref, and Sean Corbin is the third ref. You're going to see a pattern here. All 3 of those refs favor the Cleveland Cavaliers over the New York Knicks. So we've got pretty much like all home teams in the East for games today have favorable refs for them. The last game is interesting, though. Golden State at Sacramento. Now, this, Sacramento is the home team, and they're the higher seed, but John Goebel, the crew chief, Ed Malloy, and Sean Wright are all favoring Golden State. So there you go. The favorites by the refs today, Boston, Philly, Cleveland, and Golden State away in Sacramento. There's your ref report for the playoffs, the first day of the playoffs today. So very interesting stuff. Jay's saying Orlando defied the odds before, winning the 1993 lottery when the team had a 1.52% chance. Maybe that little you keep making the girl younger and younger. She's 9, dude. Maybe that little 9-year-old girl that won the game might come back to be a blessing for you. Who knows? I mean, this is the way it works. Jay, we really looked at this thing that happened with Diar DeRozan as kind of payback for trading her dad to San Antonio for Kawhi Leonard. And in some ways, us Raptors Nation is saying we're all even now, DeMar. You've eliminated us in a do or die playing game. And does that make you feel better about how things went in the summer of 2018 a little bit better? In some ways, I bet it does. And to me, we're square. We're square. I'm sorry. Your daughter came to the game, had a huge impact on the game, and your team won and put us out. That's got to feel really good, DeMar. That's got to feel really, really, really good in some ways with the storyline of your career. So I think we're even at this point is what I'll say. I like that Jay's bringing up Orlando. From the early 90s, Shaq and Penny, those picks. They did really get lucky early. And this is the crazy thing. This is why they made rules against the Raptors being able to pick too high in the later 90s, is because Orlando was an expansion team in 1989, and they hadn't been around that long. And boom, they got like 2 first-round picks. And then all of a sudden they were in the finals against the Houston Rockets. The NBA didn't like how quickly the Magic expanded from being an expansion team to being in the finals. So they wanted to kind of limit the new teams from getting up too quickly. That's why the Grizzlies and the Raptors weren't allowed to pick Allen Iverson or any of these high draft picks because we weren't allowed to pick within the first like 4 or 5 draft picks. Such bullshit. And they only did it to us, the Canadian franchises. They switched the rule back afterwards when they added teams after us. So yeah, it's kind of messed up. But yeah, Orlando had crazy lucky lottery skills, and they did win like with a 1.52 chance. Like that's totally true what Jay's saying. Randolph Phillips is saying, Lex, you should also hand out end of the year regular season awards like most valuable fan, rookie fan of the year, like the NBA, just for your followers. Well, we do have a rookie of the year for sure. That is Shere Khan. Shere Khan has won the Raptor Freak Rookie of the Year. I've said this a few times on here. I don't know if I could do like MVP. Maybe I could do MVP. All right, why not? We'll do that right now. Monique, as part of our celebration of you today, you are our Raptor Freak MVP for the season. I'm just going to say it right there. Monique has just been such a good a connector with so many different super fans and great Raptor fans in our community, and she knows so many different people, and she's just such a bridge and such a central hub of Raptors fandom that we appreciate and celebrate your spirit and your tenacity and your devotion to our franchise and our team, the Toronto Raptors. So, Monique, you are officially the Raptor Freak MVP for this past season, this tumultuous, puzzling, tough season. You kept us going through with positive vibes and good feelings, Monique. So you have won MVP, Raptor Freak MVP, and I agree with this. Thank you, Randolph, for the idea, and I like that. I like that. So we'll do at least the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. Now, I don't know if we'll have any of the other awards, but maybe we'll come up with some. I don't know. We have all kinds of fun stuff we're doing on this channel. Nothing is out of the question. We'll have to see. G saying, do we think Scottie is coming back as a forward or a guard? Do you think his training will be different? He mentioned conditioning training. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of conditioning. He's saying skill work, which to me, what that means when he's saying he's doing a lot of skill work, that means like a lot of that post up stuff. It's a lot of like how he handles the ball in the low post and how he shoots and how he turns and how he his instincts tell him where to get open as far as being in close contact with somebody on his back. So there's going to be different kinds of like things that he works on. I'm just glad that he's recommitting with upping his workouts this summer. That's exactly what he needs to do. Like if Scott wants to be on a huge level, these are the ways he's got to do it. That's why everybody who thinks Scottie shouldn't listen to Fred, Scottie should be a badass and do his own thing. No, he will be the best ultimate potential person that he can be in the NBA by listening to Fred, by listening to the team, by going and doing the offseason stuff that they ask him to do. Because when he does that kind of stuff, they know how to get the best out of him. And he needs to listen and he will watch. He's going to be very successful. You know, I like what Jonesy and Sherman Hamilton said on Raptors Today yesterday. They were doing reactions to some of the interviews from Thursday, and they didn't do all of them. They're going to come out with the second part today. But they were talking about Scottie and what his potential is. And some of the things that Jonesy and Sherman said were very fun because they really do see the unlimited potential of Scottie to go in any kind of direction. It's like Fred said, he can do whatever he wants on the court. It's just him figuring it all out and understanding how much power he actually has and really like learning how to use it like very, very like purposefully. You know, he has so much he could do on the court. It's just he needs to learn exactly how powerful he is and then direct it and use it in the most best ways for the Raptors to win. And it's not necessarily him scoring over and over again. It could be like, I need to be very concentrating on offensive rebounds, positioning, and fighting with this opposing player that's getting all the rebounds. I need to shut this guy down better and help my teammates shut this guy down, help OG by coming to double his very tough assignment. There's all kinds of different ways that Scottie can specialize and help the team win. Like we've seen him help us win a game by blocking the shots at the end of a game. So that's the thing. He's like Fred said in his interview also, he's the kind of player that can see a couple plays ahead. And when he gets more in tune with really reading the floor and being smarter and more savvy, he's going to be like one of these guys like LeBron and Magic and Bird, because that's the quality that not every NBA player has, the foresight. That's the correct word, foresight. Scottie has foresight, but he doesn't know exactly how to correctly use the information from the foresight with his body to go do the best thing in that moment. And that takes reps, that takes experience, that takes NBA games played, and that takes time knowing the opposition and opponents specifically, individually also. Like he has to learn all the other NBA players and their weaknesses and where he can take them apart the easiest. And that's all stuff he's going to learn more and more, and he'll grow even more into this foresight skill. And we're going to see it. We're going to be all like, holy shit, he just did something like Magic Johnson would have done in the 80s. He's like 2 plays ahead. and he knows where to be before everybody else because he's that smart and he has that kind of talent. It's gonna be really fun. MSJ's saying also, hang on, it jumped, of course. Okay, hang on. Okay, lots of point guards, shooting guards listed at 13th range. We will get someone decent, Jalen Hood, Nick Smith Jr., but I hope we get Grady Dick. So I can hear Jack Armstrong say Dick has to shoot more. Cool jersey too. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, everybody's gonna get a Dick jersey. Oh my gosh, in some ways I don't want them to get him just because of his name, but I can see the comedy in it for sure. That's the thing. I think that in this draft position for this draft, they do definitely need to get a shooter, a guy who very much comes in like known as a shooter, not an athlete that's really talented that we need to teach how to shoot over like 5 years before he actually becomes very consistent, like we do normally. We need to get a guy who's ready to go package, like going to fill it up and very confident. Joe Weezy is this kind of guy. In some ways, he's going to be kind of like a draft pick for us this year, even though he's not, because he came in, he's been on our team for a year already. But in some ways, if we can develop him and get him more viable to be in our rotation, he could end up being like a draft pick for us, the way he feels, because he could be a very solid contributor to us this year. But we need more people like Joe Weezy, people that can really, really shoot. So like Joe Weezy was considered one of the best shooters in his draft class. Well, that's who we need to draft this year. One of the best shooters coming up out of the college ranks this year. They have to have that tag and say, oh, this is like one of the top 3 shooters in this draft. That's who I want to draft. I don't know what position or where. It doesn't even matter if it's a guard or not. They can fill it up and they're a forward. That's even good too. So I really just want one of the best pure shooters. Like that's the moniker I want to hear about the guy we're drafting. Let's see. Jay saying, logical Raptors fanatic. Are you saying Dior affected the game like a prime Reggie Miller? I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with that too. I think that's pretty. And G's laughing about it too. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. I think that's pretty funny. Oh, G's laughing about Grady Dick. She definitely had a factor. She definitely did. She shook OG. OG got shook. Wayne saying, appreciate the info on OG yesterday. I don't get info. I don't get into players' personal stuff out of respect for their privacy. I love OG, and I think he gets overlooked by both coaches and teammates because of his nature. Yeah, I agree with that. I think this is true. Listen, whatever. I mean, this is part of my aspect of things that I've got really good strength in, is I really do catch a lot of their personal stuff on like Instagram and Twitter. Any place that any of the Raptors could post, I see it. So I mean, I see all this stuff that Chris is posting all the time. Really funny stuff. Like he posts a lot of jokey stuff and he posts music, a lot of inspirational quotes and things like that. So I kind of keep track of guys like that. But OG doesn't have that kind of stuff usually to give you kind of like telltale signs. He really is like a submarine. And at the end of the season, he'll go right down into DEFCON 6 and he'll kind of float around and not be seen anywhere. And then at the start of the preseason, he'll rise up out of the water like a submarine coming back up. So it really is like that with him on social media. But if there are updates about OG in the summer, you will definitely find them here at the Raptor Freak channel. Isaac saying Mo over Nav. That's right. We're ranking Monique over Nav Bhatia in the Superfan rankings now. Represent. Post-game takes are right up there with Alvin Williams. Always thoughtful, insightful, and positively aligned with the roots of all that is Raptors culture. That is a beautiful description of Monique's post-game write-ups after the game. I wait for them, and I didn't realize that you only do them for certain games. Like some nights, I guess you don't do them because maybe you're at the game. But I loved reading those, and I've read them for years. Like this isn't like the first year I've read them. She's been doing these reactions to games for years, and I've always appreciated them, Monique. And they really are thoughtful, insightful, and they are positive for the most part. I really do like that. If they're not positive, it's because they need to be critical of the players and the way that they did the things on the court. But thanks for the comment, Isaac, and I agree with all of this. Mo over Nav. Mo over Nav. All right, G saying stats just came out. The Raps have a 92.9% of getting the 13th pick, 1% at the first, 4.7 for the fourth pick. See? So you're saying we have a chance, Mike. 4.7% for the Scottie Barnes pick, y'all. That is a chance. Seriously, that may not. That's what I'm saying. It could happen. It really could be lucky. That ping pong ball could be very, very lucky, and poop, there's the little purple raptor on the ping pong ball. Hey, the Raptors are picking second. Something like that could happen. Trevor's saying, good morning. I love what Miami did to Chicago last night. I hate watching Miami games. The arena always was half empty. Yeah, the Miami fans have not supported that team very well this year. That's true. In some ways, I don't blame them because they've been kind of mid. But in some ways, also, they should have better culture there with their team because they have a lot of championships and they've been a good team for a long time. They should have more pride. That makes me more proud of Raptors Nation. That we'll go and fill it up and go there and be supportive towards them no matter what. Definitely not like how the Miami Heat fans treat their team. That in some ways they're not good fan base in some ways. They really aren't. I like that Miami beat them too in some ways. I mean, in some ways I was going for the underdog, but Miami's a better team to go further in the playoffs as far as like they'll have more legs and they'll be able to fight with people more. I wish that Miami was playing Boston though. I really wish that they had beaten the Hawks. That pissed me off in a way because I'd much rather see Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo kind of take Boston Celtics down a peg. And the Hawks, I don't know. There's some stuff that people are posting. Like everybody's picking the Celtics to beat the Hawks, and they're all sending it to Trae Young, trying to entice him, trying to show him like everybody doubts y'all. Well, this may really fuel the fire of Young and Murray. That there was a little bit of that already in the first play-in game against Miami. Everybody was picking Miami to beat the Hawks. Well, the Hawks had a chip on their shoulder, and they wanted to show otherwise. And in some ways, the Hawks are a more complete team than the Miami Heat. So in some ways, maybe they will give the Celtics a harder run today in the first game of the playoffs this afternoon, very soon, actually, in a couple hours. So go Hawks. I'm definitely rooting for you. And Atlanta Hawks, if you put the Celtics out, I will be celebrating you on this channel so much. I'll be wearing your gear, and I'll be so happy that the Hawks beat the Celtics. If it happens, that'd be fantastic, honestly. Let's keep going. All right. Mike saying, Jay, did she score a crazy amount of points in an unbelievable time? No, I'm talking on imagining your own fan creating something that actually lost the game in a real playoff game, not the play-in. We're fine. Yeah, it is what it is. MSJ saying, gee, actually, Grady Dick needs to be drafted by the Jazz. Then they can have a Dick Sexton Gabe backcourt. It would be good for the people of Salt Lake to witness that. Maybe it'll be good for like being more accepting of alternative lifestyles, maybe in Utah. That could be. I don't know. That is kind of funny though, and I wouldn't have put that all together like you did. That you wanted that's pretty funny. I'm not going to give you a dunk though, because I don't know. I'm close. I'm close to giving you a dunk. I don't want to give you a dunk. I'm not for that one. It's a little childish. Wayne Strainer saying, in the West, apart from Kawhi, I like the Clippers with Westbrook and Norman, but I really hot for the Kings because they're being disrespected after their good play. I'm cheering for them. Sure. Oh yeah. Like if I'm going to go over the games today, I definitely want Atlanta to win. I do want Brooklyn to win because I want Brooklyn to really make it hard for the Sixers. I don't know who to pick between Cleveland and New York. I kind of hate both of them equally. But in some ways, because New York hasn't been in the playoffs for very much in recent years, maybe I'm rooting for the Knicks also. I might be just rooting for all the underdogs all around. Everybody I said the refs are going to favor, I'm going to root for the other team. So I'm rooting for Atlanta, Brooklyn, New York, and Sacramento today. Those are my 4 teams that I hope wins today. So if any of them win or all of them, I'll be very happy today. I'll be very, very happy. Let's see. G saying Salt Lake City wouldn't be able to handle that. I know if they can't handle a Bud Light can, they're not. I don't know. Trevor saying Chicago Bulls did the same thing that what we did when the winner was us. Yes. What? They did the same thing what we did when the winners was us. I'm not totally sure what you mean, Trevor. Do you mean in the game this regular season already, or in the past? We never played them in the playoffs until now. And it doesn't even really count. We never played Chicago in the playoffs. We played them in the play-in, and this is the only postseason game we've ever had against the Bulls in the history of the Raptors and the Bulls. Was that game on Wednesday? Mike's saying, even though the Bulls won against us, they're in trade everyone blow it up tank. I can't take this anymore. They went from the Bulls are going to beat the Bucks to tank. It's easier to be logical. Yeah, that's just the crazy mood swings of NBA fan bases. In some ways, this was going to happen to them inevitably. It was either going to happen to them because we did it to them on Wednesday, Miami did it to them last night, or even if they got through to Milwaukee, it was going to happen to them then. The end result was always going to be the same for the Bulls. A lot of questioning about this team and whether it would do well. It's really interesting when they're playing against Miami. Lonzo Ball's tweeting on his Twitter, I wish I could be out there to play with the guys and help them win, but I can't. And here's an advertisement for a item that I represent and promote. It was such a cheap thing. It was like, all right, I get the sentiment that you wish you were out there with your teammates, but you're going to lump it in with an ad for a product that you're endorsing. Yeah, that was kind of gross. Yeah, Lonzo Ball, I'm not really thinking you're coming back. Some guys in this league seem like they just want to collect checks. And I hate to say it. I don't want to question whether they're like really hurt or not able to play, but some of them are saying they're not actually hurt and they're just collecting checks. I'm not saying that's Lonzo, but there's certain dudes who've not played a whole lot in the last couple of years. And I wonder about whether they're just collecting checks. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to name any names. You guys can figure out who I'm talking about. There's a few of them. There's not just one. Let's see. Mike is saying, okay, I read that. KG saying Monique is the fan MVP. That's for sure. KG coming in the house. Good to see you, KG. Yeah, I agree with this. She is definitely the Raptors fan, super fan, Raptors freak community MVP for this season. Definitely, Monique, you get that moniker now. We're going to say that next year. Our reigning MVP, Monique Lawrence, is coming back into the chat. We will say that. Mike saying Shaq was the first pick in the last card draft, almost made the playoffs by one game. Then in the first lottery ball draft, their lone ball came out for the first pick. It was a Weber traded for Penny plus 3 firsts. Yeah. It was a Golden State deal that they did with the Magic. I remember. Yeah, and I remember the old envelopes. That was the whole Patrick Ewing controversy of the frozen envelope. That they said that they opened these weird, like, it looked like Valentine's cards or something. You open it and then they'd slide out the icon, and that's how they did it back in the day. I remember that. It was weird. Wayne saying Monique is this real super fan. Wasn't Nav found out to be the mole? I don't know if he's the mole or he just made poor judgment with his guests that he brought to the game. I mean, it was all good intentions, and we know where that gets you. Wayne's saying demography has changed in Miami. They've gone goofy, crazy Republicans, so that cohort ain't supporting Jimmy Butler at all. That may be part of it. I know there's a lot of weird shit going on with the Florida right now. In fact, I'm so glad my parents moved out of that state. There's flooding in that part of the state right now, and that they need disaster relief. Their governor's an idiot. He's trying to ban abortion. He's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. The states are really starting to turn into a fascist country. There's a lot of governments, like the stuff that's happening in Tennessee, the stuff that's happening in Florida is very, very fascist. It's like, this is the kind of stuff that Hitler and Nazis did right before they started putting Jews in concentration camps. Now, the group that they're all after is trans people and gay people, and they're vilifying them just like Jewish people were vilified by the Nazis in Nazi Germany like 100 years ago. So this is the same shit. This is the same playbook. And people down there are so dumb they don't realize it. That the MAGA and the Republicans are very much like the Nazi Party at this point. All they're about is like taking away rights from individuals and doing crazy shit. They're solidifying their power in like really fascist ways that are anti-democratic and against the will of the people. So in some ways, the fight in the United States right now is very, very much for the ability to stay a democracy and not turn into a real bad fascist country, because they're very much trying to go that way. Florida is a fascist state at this point because Ron DeSantis is using his government power to like really do crazy sweeping changes. It's almost like the strong arm power of the mayor here in Toronto. He has some of that kind of power down in Florida. And they're doing weird things, like I said, in Tennessee. So the states is in real trouble with their democracy. And they need to wake up and understand and open their eyes that, you know, that side is really feeding into stuff, the same thing that the people that followed Hitler is feeding into. It's the same exact shit. And they may not think it is. They may not be smart enough to understand it because they're just stupid people, a lot of them anyway. But that is what this is. It's exactly the same game plan and pattern that happened in Germany with Hitler, what's happening with Trump in the United States right now. In fact, there's so many crazy parallels that are exactly the same. It's really bad. Now, the thing about Miami is some of it's very blue. It's not a total red city. That there are counties down there, but some of it is because of the immigration debates recently in the last few years. Some of the old Cubans that did come across the right way really don't like the immigration stances of Joe Biden and other Democrats and other people about like the way they treat the border. And that's part of the reason why they're so driven against it. These people, they fucking had the path to come in and get here. And some of them probably did come illegally and they did come through and get a legal status at some point. They want to shut the door to people behind them. I think that that's so disgusting that you had that path to get away from what you needed to get away from in Cuba with Fidel Castro, and you're going to close the door behind on people that are trying to come through the same way you did. Yeah, fuck you, people down south that are like that. You know, you had all those advantages and given to you and got here. And you want to close the door behind you for people that need that just as much as you did. Yeah, that's what we see there. Anyway, I've gone on a tangent, a little bit of a demography, sociology, political tangent, but I appreciate Wayne's comment. MSJ saying, well, have a nice day, everyone. You too, Mick Foley. Have a nice day. Yes, MSJ. Always good to see you. And Trevor saying, no, I mean, Chicago did the same thing what we did in the play-in game with us losing in the fourth quarter. Oh, yeah. Last night, they fell apart at the last second and let Miami come back and beat them in the end. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, that's totally true. And I don't know. I'd have to see the game. I didn't really watch it. I wonder if the calls were a little fishy in the fourth quarter also. Like, I wonder if there was a little bit of funneling a good favor for the Miami Heat to come back and overtake the Chicago Bulls with maybe a couple of little suspect calls by the referees. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know exactly. All I can say is I can see the box score, I can see the play-by-play, and a couple of things like that, but I didn't see exactly what happened. So Mike saying W stream. Right on, Mike. All right, yeah, we'll make this not a crazy too long marathon. Just real quick in summation, the referees for today are for Atlanta and Boston, David Guthrie, Bill Kennedy, and Ben Taylor. They all three favor the Boston Celtics. The referees for Brooklyn at Philadelphia are James Williams, Mark Lindsay, and JB DeRosa. They all three favor the Philadelphia 76ers. New York at Cleveland, we got Zach Zarba, Curtis Blair, and Sean Corbin, and all three of the referees favor Cleveland Cavaliers. And in the last game today, Golden State at Sacramento, John Goebel, Ed Malloy, and Sean Wright, and all three of the referees favor the Golden State Warriors. So there's your ref report on that. Once again, guys, thank you for joining me, and we appreciate you, Monique, so much. I hope that you've enjoyed this morning, celebrating you, the new Raptor Freak MVP of the season. Thank you, Randolph, for giving me that idea. And we will celebrate you as the MVP for the whole entire year. Until next year, we'll give a new MVP award to somebody else. But you will always be the first ever Raptor Freak MVP of the year, Monique. So congratulations. We love you, and keep being the super fan that you are. You're a great role model and somebody that we all really do appreciate the knowledge and the vibes that you bring. All right, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow for a Sunday report. I think I'm going to analyze a little bit more about the situation with young Miss Diar and whether she could have actually been thrown out in some ways. I'm going to go look at the rules today about expulsion from the arena. I may even reach out to my friend Tuzi and ask him as an usher at the Scotiabank Arena what he thought about that situation. So tomorrow it's going to be a Sunday report. What were the actual powers that our staff had in the game the other night to actually maybe expulse the young Miss Diar out of the arena in that situation? Was there anything we actually could have done? A lot of people are saying that other arenas would have thrown her out. Well, could they have? The rules allowed that, and that I will find out today, and I'll tell you the answers tomorrow. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching me. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thank you, Monique. Thank you, everybody, for contributing. Thank you, Tom Duke, for all you do for this channel. Y'all have a great day. Let's go, Raptors.